How to Live Without Regret, 7 Stoic Truths Seneca. Most people are not afraid of dying. What terrifies them is something quieter. They are afraid of reaching the end and realizing they never actually lived. Not the years, but the life inside those years, left unopened like a gift they kept saving for later. 2,000 years ago, a Roman named Seneca noticed the same thing. In his essay on the shortness of life, he made a claim that still lands like a slap. Life is not short. We are given plenty of time. The problem is that we waste most of it. We pour our days into worry, distraction, and other people's expectations, and then we complain that time ran out. Life is long enough, Seneca insisted, if you know how to use it. So the real question is not how to add more years. It is how to reach the end with nothing left to mourn. Here are 7 Stoic truths that can get you there. Truth number 1. Regret lives in the uncontrollable past, so spend your energy on the present. The Stoics divided the world into 2 piles. What is up to you, and what is not. Your past belongs entirely to the second pile. It is finished, unchangeable, sealed. When you replay an old mistake at 2 in the morning, you are pouring effort into something you have zero power over. Think of the choice you keep rehearsing. The job you left. The words you said in anger. No amount of suffering rewrites a single second of it. The Stoics did not say ignore your past. They said learn from it, then release your grip. The only place your power actually exists is this moment. Right now, you can pick up the phone, mend the fence, start the work. Regret asks you to live backward. Wisdom asks you to face forward. Every ounce of energy you spend grieving what is gone is an ounce stolen from the one thing you can still shape. Truth number 2. You will not regret the risks you took, only the ones you avoided. Look closely at the regrets of the elderly, and a pattern appears. They rarely ache over the bold thing they tried and failed. They ache over the bold thing they never dared. The confession they swallowed. The trip they postponed forever. The dream they called childish. The Stoics prized courage as one of the 4 cardinal virtues, and for good reason. Fear is a liar that dresses caution up as wisdom. It whispers that staying small is staying safe. But a life shrunk to fit your fear is its own quiet tragedy. Consider the person who wanted to paint, or to leave the city, or to say I love you first. The failure they imagined almost never arrives. What arrives instead is the slow ache of wondering. Seneca urged us to act while we still can, because the door does not stay open. Regret rarely says you tried too much. It says you tried too little. Truth number 3. Time is the one currency you cannot earn back. You can lose money and rebuild it. You can lose a friendship and repair it. You can lose your health and sometimes recover. But an hour spent is gone with no refund. Seneca was furious about how carelessly people guard their time. They defend their property, he said, yet hand their days to anyone who asks. Think about it honestly. You would not let a stranger drain your bank account, yet you let notifications, gossip, and mindless scrolling drain your afternoons. The Stoics wanted us to treat time as the precious, non-renewable resource it is. This is not about squeezing productivity from every minute. It is about spending your hours on what you would actually choose. An evening with someone you love is time well kept. A night lost to resentment is time robbed. Ask of each day, is this how I want to spend a piece of my life? Because that is exactly what you are spending. Truth number 4. Live by your values now, so tomorrow leaves nothing to mourn. Regret is often the gap between who you are and who you meant to be. Close that gap today, and you starve regret of its fuel. The Stoics believed a good life comes from aligning your actions with your principles, moment by moment. If honesty matters to you, be honest in the small conversation this afternoon. If your family matters, be present at dinner tonight, not just in the story you tell yourself. Picture the version of you that you admire. That person is not built by a grand gesture someday. They are built by the choice in front of you right now. Every time you act in line with your values, you deposit something no one can take. Every time you betray them for comfort or approval, you plant a seed of future regret. Do not save your integrity for a special occasion. The occasion is this ordinary, unremarkable day. Truth number 5. Forgive your past self, who knew far less than you do now. Here is the trap. We judge yesterday's choices with today's knowledge, then punish ourselves for not knowing what we could not have known. The Stoics taught that people do wrong through ignorance, not malice, and that mercy is a strength. Extend that mercy to yourself. The younger you, making that painful decision, was working with the information, the fear, and the wounds they had at the time. They were doing their imperfect best. Would you scream at a friend for a mistake made in good faith? Then why scream at yourself? Self-forgiveness is not an excuse to stop growing. It is the ground you must stand on to grow at all. You cannot build a good life on a foundation of self-hatred. Look back at your younger self the way a kind mentor would. With understanding, with patience, and with a quiet nod that says you did not know yet, and now you do. Truth number 6. A life measured by virtue leaves little to regret. The Stoics had a radical idea about success. They said the only true good is your own character. Not wealth, not fame, not applause, because all of those can vanish tomorrow. What cannot be taken is the kind of person you chose to be. This reframes everything. If you chase money and lose it, regret floods in. But if you measured your life by courage, justice, wisdom, and self-control, then even on a hard day you can say I acted well. Think of two people at the end of their lives. One counts trophies now gathering dust. The other remembers being kind when it was hard, honest when it cost them, steady when everything shook. Which one sleeps in peace? When virtue is your measure, you are never truly at the mercy of luck. You carry the source of a good life inside you, and that is a life with very little to mourn. Truth number 7. Memento mori turns someday into today. The Stoics kept a startling practice. They reminded themselves, often, that they would die. Not to feel morbid, but to feel awake. Memento mori. Remember that you must die. It sounds dark until you feel what it does. Suddenly the petty grievance shrinks. The postponed dream demands attention. The phone call you keep meaning to make becomes urgent. Death is the great clarifier. It strips away someday and hands you only now. Seneca said we should live each day as a complete life, so that whenever the end comes, it finds us finished, not interrupted. Imagine this were your last ordinary week. Who would you call? What would you finally forgive? What tiny fear would suddenly look absurd? You do not need the fear of death. You need its clarity. Let it push someday off its shelf and set it down, gently, right here in today. So here is the truth beneath all 7. A life without regret is not a life without mistakes. It is a life fully lived, in the only moment you ever truly own. Seneca was right. Your time is enough, if you stop wasting it on the past and start spending it on the present. You cannot change a single yesterday. But every tomorrow you will one day mourn is being decided by what you choose today. So choose to live. Choose courage over comfort, presence over distraction, and virtue over applause. Do it now, while the door is still open. Because the goal was never to avoid death. The goal was to reach it, look back, and feel nothing but peace.